Reporting from Columbus, Ohio at QA or the Highway. Again, many of us coming back to this event. Well, not back, it's my first time. But speaking of coming back, I have a friend that you won't believe what I'm going to say. I just met in person for the first time after collaborating and getting in touch for a while. Very good friend. John Sapolsky?
Zapolsky.
Sapolsky.
Yep.
Yeah, I had to work on the pronunciations.
That's
Everyone
okay.
keep getting in trouble. But amigo John, why don't you share a little bit with the audience? What is your background? Where are you? I already hinted that it's not your first time, your first rodeo in QA or the highway. What's up with you, amigo?
I'm John Zapolsky, and I've been in QA for about 11 years now.
Wow.
Started out kind of as a manual tester, but even within that, really was fascinated with like improving the process and automating tasks, even in like Excel's creating macros and all that kind of
Cool.
stuff. So, kind of then jumped into test automation. Actually started out like with Selenium and like using the IDE, and I worked with the company for 8 years. I did QA there for about a year and a half. Got let go and actually found another job where they didn't have a QA team at all. So they were starting from the ground up. They hired me and one other person where I was focused more on like the technology, like with automation, where she was focused more like on the process side of things. So I did that for about 3 years. And then kind of moved. That was kind of an older company. Then I moved into a startup where they basically hired me on, and I basically started the kind of inherited an automation framework, but really kind of took it to the next level. I'm very into like organization of code, making things more efficient. There was no standards in place. So I kind of just kind of like went with that, started leading, and really actually kind of creating like an automation team. Um, so I did that for a couple years, and it's kind of within that too. Um, we had a college intern program, and I had like regular one-on-ones, and realized like I want to help. I like helping people like grow in their careers and like coach them. So I did that. So through that process, I realized I want to manage, because I think a lot of like testers, we have kind of you're either going to be kind of like the management route or like be more like technical, right? Or maybe like at an architecture level. And I was like, I love helping people. I love coaching people.
Cool.
I love connecting people. So within that same company, we got acquired, and it was really cool because no one else was doing this. But when we got acquired, we were connected to some other companies, like a parent company and like a sister company. And I was like, hey, how are other people doing testing? So I reached out to the kind of counterparts, and we did some kind of like demos, and that kind of morphed into more of a kind of like a table topic kind of discussion, like, hey, how do you guys do automation investigation, right? So it's kind of like through that, that I just realized I really love like connecting people,
Cool.
and then just being able to like connecting the right people, and then like solving like problems. I really got excited about doing that. So, oh yeah.
And now you're about to start to doing that at a better scale, right?
Yeah. So that kind of So we acquired like another company about 3 years ago, and that was kind of the first time we had like a actual like tech org. Before that, there was no. We were kind of like siloed from the rest of the
Everyone doing their own
company.
thing.
Yeah, everyone's doing their own thing, and kind of in that they were like, hey. Let's push some like working groups of like the DevOps team can have their own. I was like, well, I've already kind of started this with the testing, so that was very natural. However, the challenge in that was it was kind of like an optional kind of thing, and when you're not working on like a project or something together, it's really hard to start like getting that to go right, because people are all busy, right?
You get other priorities, you start to look elsewhere, and
Yes. Yeah, exactly. So last year, so basically we have like 3 locations, and we have like different products within each of those locations. So last year, they decided at the tech org to actually break those down into like functions. So you can have like a digital function, you have like your a clinical function, and like an operations function. that spread across all three locations and products. So kind of within that, I am kind of over the testing of the kind of that digital function. And so we actually, for the first time, actually have kind of like a testing kind of like strategy, a model that we want to kind of like strive to be towards. So like it kind of involves like having like an embedded kind of tester, or really kind of an ambassador on each of the teams, like within each of the products, with the goal of basically they're advocating for testing. They're not necessarily doing all the testing, but they're saying like, hey, I'm the testing expert, and this is what testing should look like. And they're making sure that the processes are being followed. So I'm going to be working with the different people on each of the teams to kind of like, let's have consistencies across like our enterprise of like how we're doing testing, how we're doing like test automation standards, and like processes and like code review process, like all those kinds of things.
Best practices, and as you were mentioning a little bit, we already had a conversation earlier, so I have some talking points. But that you were saying, no, having best practices, standards, or practices, period. Like some teams do not even have them and would not follow them, right?
Correct. Yeah, you would be surprised like how many teams.
No, I'm not surprised. I have been in many of those teams. And, you're kind of thrown into the fire. Go QA this. What? Okay. And it's funny because when we first met, and I keep saying it was online, and it was, it's a great experience to start to meeting people that way. And a friend in common, Joe Colantonio. Hola, Joe. I don't know if you're watching, but hola. Thank you. This is your fault. Good fault. You were looking for some help to implement performance best practices or to follow up.
Yes.
And that's how we met. And you were having some struggles back then, if I remember well.
Yeah. So we basically are coming, we have kind of like this monolithic code base, right? We've been splitting out into microservices over the years, but the architecture is just really old, and it's not very scalable. So we've had some issues here and there, but nothing like as far as performance, but nothing really major until kind of like more recently. And that's just because our volume is going up so much, which is a good thing, right? Because our volume, we want our volume to go up. However, that kind of through that, it's exposed performance bugs and issues,
capacity limitations.
Yes.
Because it's something. James Pulley, another of the Perfights amigos, he always brings this example of an online store that they were super excited because their site went down because we have so many customers. Yeah, but you're not being able to sell them. So why so much excitement? And you were experiencing exactly that, right?
Right.
With and immediately, what was your approach, or what you were trying to do? I mean, I know, but for you to share, what was the experience and those performance issues? And
so it was kind of we basically kind of looked at like, okay, where so we have like multiple applications. We have like external applications, we have internal applications, and the performance was being affected by both. So it's kind of like we had to start looking at like where is the
where do we start?
What was the complaint? Where are the pain points? And then looking at the back ends of like, okay, what is, what microservices being run, or what are the database calls? So we have had access to like Datadog for a while, but we've never really like leveraged it to its fullest. But that kind of opened like, hey, let's start using Datadog. So that actually kind of gave us some more information to kind of see like where these performance issues arising.
But one thing that surprised me, even from the first times that we started talking, like you had Datadog. The organization was paying for Datadog, and it's not like an isolated weird story. Like that's a story that I would walk into so much. Gladly, the organization had it, but it's there. I mean, who knows who uses it? And you were like, we have it. We should start leveraging it and gathering information, observability, and I guess by that you were getting some quick wins and some insights, right?
Yes, yeah, for sure. And I think a lot of the issues that we saw were also like database related. So they
Mm.
were kind of like running some different, being able to see, I think even through Datadog, some of the queries and stuff of, like where there were big, long running queries. Um, yeah, and I guess another kind of challenge that we've had over the years is we've never had like a dedicated like performance tester.
Mm-hmm.
Um, we've had for about 6 years, we've had somebody that was kind of like dedicated to like doing performance testing kind of part-time, but then also kind of the functional automation supporting the team as well. But it seems like performance testing always took a back seat to that.
Mm.
So we actually hired like a new person a couple years ago. They didn't have any performance testing background, but they said they replaced the previous person. We're like, hey, you're going to do performance testing.
And you're gonna be fully dedicated. That was kind of the
Well, maybe
intent.
not like fully dedicated, but like that was going to be part of like your responsibility.
Okay.
Yeah, like a
Not
couple
just in
years
the back
ago.
burner, but it's that's
Yes,
important for you.
yes, it was important. Yeah, and so then we decided to like partner with someone and say, hey, can you come in and like you're the the performance professionals. Can you come in and walk alongside this person and kind of drive like what performance should look like? So we kind of did. We started that process. We evaluated some different people, and then we were all set to kind of like start moving forward on that. And then that person left
Oh, yeah.
the company. So now we had to make it kind of a decision of like, okay, so now we basically try to do the same thing of just like I put a job description out there of a performance tester / automated tester, right? And you just couldn't find anybody. That you either find somebody that all they do is performance testing or
Mhm.
all they do is automation, like functional API backend, like testing. You couldn't find a mix. So we decided as an organization, as a team, that we want to just do a performance tester
Mhm.
because we have like the one application that we know is having problems. However, we can expand that to use across all the teams
Yeah.
across the whole enterprise if there's opportunities. So we actually just hired a performance tester who's actually started this week, who we're super excited about. Lots of like over 10 years of experience, and we're really going to rely on him to really just drive performance testing. And I know we're going to see like quick wins and results and all that really soon. So yeah, we're
And,
excited.
and something from what you mentioned, and because I knew the situation, I was helping you. I was trying to collaborate on filling that need or that position. I don't want to narrow it down to just a role in the organizational chart, but you had a serious need for performance testing, optimization, assurance, all the performance shebang. Um, and for how long? How long did it take you to right now? Because yeah, I know that you are super excited because after over a year, I think it was.
Yeah, I mean, so we started that the kind of the journey to like get that. So that the person that just left, he left a couple months ago.
Mm-hmm.
But before that, yeah, we started the journey about a year and a half ago, I think, of trying to like find someone to come alongside him.
Yeah.
And then yeah, about this time last year is when the production issues started surfacing, and then that was another kind of like, hey, we need to really like push
Now
for
we
all
really
this.
need.
Yes, yeah, and because it has more visibility, right? Because it's again, if it's affecting not just our internal customers, but it's also our external customers. So yeah.
And I mean, and that's something what I was so interested for you to come and share this story with the audience, because um, it's something that we are starting to see the need for performance people,
Mm.
and how abundant are them. Just curiously asking.
Yeah, I mean, they are not very like. It's hard to find them out there. Like it was. So even when I reposted the job position, it wasn't like the applications I was getting even really had. They had maybe had like a year or two here or there, like JMeter or running scripts, but nothing like this person that we have, like he has a passion for like performance testing, and it's such a specialized test kind of testing expertise area
Skill
set that it's just really hard to find somebody. And Yeah, but we reached out to him like through like LinkedIn, like our recruiter did, to like be able to even find him. So yeah, they are far in between as far as like available.
No, 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 and
Yeah.
a number of people availability.
Yep.
Um, and it's something that I also want to shine out with the people watching right now or whoever watches this later. We need more performers, more,
Yeah.
and something that you mentioned that is really critical, because it's very easy to find a scripter, someone
Right.
that
Right.
knows the tool.
Right.
But after that, there's so much. A performance descriptor, easy peasy, but performance engineer,
Hmm.
um, it's quite a challenge, and to have the passion. And I'm sure it's a well-paid position,
Right.
because
Right. Yeah.
pay attention. No, and it's something I
Yes.
know, and
Right.
it's, if anyone watching Perf watching all the content that I'm trying to generate, gets interested from this,
Hmm.
your experience and the difficulties that you had to put together a team, to put together grab a person that will guide you and help you, because as you say, there are components of the knowledge of the practice that were critical to you, right?
Right.
And I, I I remember I even kind of contributed a little bit, like it's needed this, it's needed that, it's needed that, because there were so many that even you yourself or the organization was not aware, right?
Right.
How were you were figuring out those needs, or the lack of having them? Did you have any experience where you were like, oh, should we need this, or oh, now I understand?
Yeah, I mean it's been just kind of a journey again, just kind of the different types of performance issues that we've had, and yeah, I think I mentioned to you like one of the things that we're trying to do is trying to connect all like the test engineers across the whole enterprise. Like we just started like a testing book club
Hmm.
about a month ago, and it's really cool because I even remember like one guy, I think it was after the first or second one we had, it just saying like, this is really great. This is like this is the only time I get to connect with other testers, and this is like within our own organization, right? Um, because what I want to do is like really understand like where are the other like performance issues,
Yeah.
right? Because they probably exist, in there. They're just not being like surfaced, right? Or they might just be putting band-aids on it. And but I do actually remember even another team with another application mentioning that they were having some performance issues. But that at that point I couldn't, like, I did say like at the person I had previously, I said like reach out to him, right, if you need any kind of performance testing, but it didn't go anywhere. But I feel like something like this I think would be even more, I'd feel even more confident like sending this person like, hey, can you reach out
Hmm.
to this team and see what their needs are and see if you can assist. So
And that is a very good point that you do. If you can assist, or all the possible areas where performance issues can pop up,
yeah.
because again, many of us are used to just bring up the JMeter, start automating there,
Right.
and just put scripts. But sometimes
Right.
it's web performance, it's the front end where you have an issue, or it's the database where you
Right.
have an issue.
Yes.
Can be the network, can be infrastructure, probably. I don't know, you have a weird configuration of Windows servers, and one won't talk to the other, and
Right.
that is that. And now we're getting into more complexities. I'm guessing that you're getting like cloud and services and microservices, all that. You must be having fun with that.
Yeah, and I mean that's like like one of the things that we're like moving to like CI/CD, like a lot of companies. We want to do like multiple deploys a day. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We want to get to this, and part of that is we want to have like a performance testing kind of strategy like built into that, right? And again, we need someone that has that even the passion, even if they don't have that experience, if they have the passion to like learn and like know about performance testing, we can give that to them, right? Say, hey, we're moving to this, we're moving to AWS and this and that. Can you help us build performance testing in that, right? Because
How do we assure performance in AWS? What do we have to pay attention to?
right.
Or what other questions do you foresee, or what other situations?
um yeah, I mean, we're gonna be like using like containers and just like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean, and just like, yeah. And I think I've had conversations with you too, just like performance even at the dev code level, at the unit test level. Like we don't have any of that, right? So it's like we need to get better. Again, we might be able to get away with it across the enterprise now, but if we're moving to multiple, you know what I mean, it could get to a point where it could be like a wrecking ball. You know what I mean? It can cause a standstill just because it's because we're gonna. I don't know. It's just hard to think about. Like right now, you know, most teams are deploying like once a week, maybe once every couple of weeks, some like once a month. But if you think about like, you know, I don't really know how many teams we even have. Maybe like 10 teams, right? And if they're deploying multiple times a day into production, right,
That's going to get
right,
interesting.
that's going to get very interesting, and especially if you don't have any kind of like performance like testing like strategy in place, it can
It's really important, and it's something that many organizations are not taking into account, or even us performers at times. Personally, I have to say I haven't gotten that much Kubernetes stuff. I know the services, microservice distributed,
right,
but there's that hidden area that if you ask me, like, oh, well, I have some ideas. That is funny how you said, because from other components and other things of experience, I can give you some ideas, but I'm not
Right.
100% sure. That's a Kubernetes way to performance assurance.
right,
And there are so many areas that are popping up, and the complexities. And now you have microservices here. Now your pieces in AWS, other pieces are local, other pieces are part of the
Mhm.
monolith. You must
Right.
have also some sort of those
right,
entertaining situations, right?
yeah,
And well, and it's a kind of a testament of why I wanted to have you and everyone in the audience. I truly chased this guy and asked him, because it's a great story. It's something that it was a pain point for you.
Yeah.
Well, you're still working through it.
Right,
It's not that
right.
it's completely healed or
right,
the other side, right?
right,
And it's critical to have more people to be able to help. Many organizations like yours,
yes,
they're trying to go, and I'm surprised that you are getting 1 or 2 releases per sprint. That's something that's good for you.
right,
Not every organization is
Right.
managing to get that, and that you are thinking, how can I integrate into these releases
Hmm.
continuous performance, or to keep performance, pay attention to Datadog, and all the little things that you can check around. It's quite a challenge to keep up with, right?
right, yeah, for sure.
And well, I don't want to hold you for too long. I really appreciate that you came and shared your experience, your
Yeah.
painful but happy experience. If it wasn't for that, we wouldn't know each other. I'm
Right,
super
right,
happy
right.
about it.
Yes.
But now that some of the audience and people that may be interested or eventually get to a point where, like, oh wow, there's need for performance people, people like John needs them at the company. Would you like to give some words or some recommendations, or say, I need people, hey, hello, we're here. What would you like to say as closing words?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing for me and how I got connected with you was like at an event like this. So it was actually, again, Joe Colantonio. It was the Automation Guild,
Mhm.
right? And that being on that Slack channel, and that's how because I brought it up to the community. I said, hey, I'm looking for a performance tester. Joe's like, hey, you need to get in touch with Senior Performo. And I was like, okay. And then that's how we started having, building that relationship. And it's like, yeah, I just being here is awesome. It's just such a community. And like, I've talked to several of like the speakers, and when they say like, hey, you can reach out to me and like with any questions that you have, they truly mean it. So I would say like, reach out, follow the right people like on LinkedIn, like you, right? And just like reach out to like you, or even put a LinkedIn post,
Yeah.
right? You can even tag me, tag you in it, and we can respond to it. That's just one of those ways that, that if you need help and guidance, yeah. But I think I think the more like performance testers I know and stuff too, I can like also drive people, I can drive them to, these companies and stuff. It's just, I think it's just being involved, connected in the community.
It's crazy because that what you just said, stay in conferences, pay attention, know people, get mentors, or get good connections on who may be bringing that. Has been, I mean, people watching is not the first conference that I stream. It's just the second. But it's a recurrent topic. Like, come to conferences. They are super important for you to meet people, get knowledge, and get connected. Something that you said I hadn't thought about, like, do a post in LinkedIn. I'm looking for people, tag
Yep.
the people that you know, and probably they can tag someone else that may be interested or
Yes.
can give you some connections. It's an awesome way to find people, find not only for need of knowledge inside of your company or hiring, but if you want the knowledge, if you want to get with these people, or shoot us a LinkedIn message or anything. I mean, most of us presenting are super happy, and that's what we are here for. And um, at a time, it's like, yeah, we would do it for free. Most of people I know here are super
Right,
happy to
yeah.
share.
Yep.
And as well, like you, I'm super thankful that you agreed to come and share the experience.
Yeah.
People, it's really tough to find performers, good performers.
Mm.
There's so much of a need of performance people. He can tell you that's what I brought
Yes.
the attention, and he's not the only one. There's so many people that comes and say, I need a performer, I need help with this, I need help scripting on K6, I need help automating, executing, or understanding, improving my systems, finding the bottlenecks. There's a lot of help needed. Please pay attention to it, grow with it, get better outside of just the scripting. And well, thanks for the recommendations, John. I really appreciate, and again, I'm super thankful that you agreed to come here to my confessionary.
Yes, no problem. Yes, that's awesome.
If people want to follow up with you, because you may have other job openings, or just to say hi, where can they
Yes.
find you?
Yeah. So I think the best way is on LinkedIn. So I think it's just search John Zapolsky. There shouldn't be that many out there.
You're the only one. Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
But yes, I mean, just send me like a direct message or something. And I'm always open for like these kind of conversations with people to just kind of share my experience and help. I might not have the answers, but I know enough people, like I can guide you to the right people too. So yeah.
Very similar to what Joe Calantonio did with you, connecting me. You can connect other people.
Right. Yep.
It's a growing circle. So pay attention, send a message to John. And John, again, thank you so much for coming and sharing a little bit. I hope it wasn't too painful.
No. It was awesome. Yes.
I'm super happy. So everyone, I'll see if I can stream a little bit more messages, but stay tuned. And thank you, John, for joining us. Leandro, out. And that's gonna, as usual, take a little bit.